Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the City of Healing. This is your sister, Sinette and Tarangela. Wanted to come forth and just do a brief share. Wanted to continue the conversation about mushrooms, in particular, functional mushrooms or medicinal mushrooms. I've shared before certain books that I read on medicinal mushrooms, such as Mycelium Running by Paul Stamets, a very excellent read that talks about how mushrooms can help save the world, talk about the root of mycelium, the locations, the different types, different modalities of how they use them, how it's used, how it's grown. If you know from reading the book how they actually raise mushrooms, you might not want to eat mushrooms, but I find mushrooms to be very delicious. I've done a few videos how I prepare them, how I eat them, some of the benefits of them. Also, another good book on mushrooms is, let's see, I have on Audible, and it's called Healing Mushrooms by Tero, I'm going to mess up his name, Isoperuna. But this is on Audible. Also, that's I don't have that book. It's about a 2 hour and 30-minute read. Very interesting, different ways, different types of mushrooms, the healing modalities, etc., etc. I've tried, like I said, I've cooked a lot of mushrooms, especially when I was a vegan and vegetarian, and actually because mushrooms have a consciousness, because their DNA and RNA are very similar to humans, some vegan vegetarians do not eat mushrooms because they in fact do have very similar how-tos live as to humans versus the plant kingdom. They look more like the plant kingdom because they don't walk around and look like humans, but they breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. They also get their food from an outside source, not such as much as photosynthesis, even though they can use the sun, but they, excrete an enzyme and eat foods that way. They live off of dead things, basically. Like trees, I've put mushrooms on certain trees or near certain trees, my leftovers, and the tree's no longer there. However, I don't really see the mushrooms. The mycelium must have, gone on the ground in other places. But mushrooms are everywhere. They've been here for millions, if not billions of years. And there's probably going to be the thing, as I mentioned before, that really heal the planet. I've talked before also, we don't live on a vegetarian planet. We are a recyclable planet. It's just the reality of it. So I don't like to say this and people don't like to hear it, but we're basically living off of each other. It's a recyclable planet. It doesn't go nowhere. Flesh doesn't go anywhere. If you burn it, if you put it in water, if you bury it, it's basically still here. And it's a combination of how we really live. So in actuality, there's really no such thing as vegan, vegetarian, really. But the mushrooms themselves have such that intelligence that when you consume them, they have this adaptogenic type of nature as to that they know what the body needs and is able to heal. It's a great antioxidant. The first mushroom that I learned about was chaga, and I introduced it to a few people that got a lot of good results from it. It's the king of mushrooms, and it's black. And being that it's black, it's, as we know, melanin is liquid gold. And that blackness, that great antioxidant of chaga, makes it a very high on the ORAC scale antioxidant that can heal. The queen of mushroom is reishi, and she's so very therapeutic at healing, calming, and just relaxing the body. She's gorgeous. If you haven't met her, she's very, very gorgeous. There are all types of other mushrooms as well. I'm not talking about the psilocybins, the hallucinogenics. I haven't tried any. I'm not saying that I would never will, but I find them interesting as well. If you don't know about mushrooms, nor have you tried them, I encourage you definitely to look into some of their healing modalities. They are, in fact, you know, can be found in different types of powders. And this particular one, Rise, I've also tried by the Arthur Toro. I've tried his Four Sigmatics powder as well. I eat mushrooms. I fry them. I stir fry them. I put them in everything. That's not my whole diet or anything, but just saying I do eat mushrooms. And we have to really be careful of the way that we are feeding ourselves, because that will determine how our future, or how healthy or how not healthy our future is as well, because we give ourselves back to the planet. So with this Rise, it doesn't really have a lot of flavor to it. A lot of people put it in their coffee. I drink decaf, but I love coffee. I don't have any right now because I don't keep it in the house because I would drink it. But I get ever so often decaf coffee, and I like oat milk, and I put in the oat milk with it. I just got this, so it has a little bit of flavor and sugars to it. So I do have a sweet tooth, so I like to add some sweetness to it. Sometimes a little sugar, and it's hot. And it's delicious. It tastes a little bit like hot chocolate, a little bit. If I had some more chocolate, I would definitely put in. It does have a little bit of the coffee taste to it. Very good. But anyway, I just wanted to basically come back and talk a little bit more about mushrooms, and just to introduce us to mushrooms and some of their benefits and what they're doing for the planet. And, you know, not only for healing ourselves and healing each other, but basically healing our planet. A lot of the medicines that we are take have mushrooms, you know, penicillins, different types of blood pressure medicines. I can go on and on and on that has some form of mushroom in them. Some of our hair products, our face products have mushrooms in them because of the healing effects of mushrooms and their ability to adapt to healing the body. Also, you know, if you haven't seen videos, you know, lots of videos on mushrooms on YouTube, how to cook mushrooms, how you can heal them to heal yourself, ways to drink it. I think one of the better ways to take mushrooms is take it in alcohol abstract. Basically, how they just take the mushrooms, soak it, and just take the essence of it from alcohol, the alcohol pulling the essence of the mushroom out of it. Those are just a few ways, or just one way to really think about how we can use and consume mushrooms so that we can continue to heal our bodies and continue to heal the planet. So that's what I wanted to come forth and share. If you, like I said, if you don't know about mushrooms, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos where I basically talked about mushrooms, go back and look at that as well. I talk about oyster mushrooms, how I grew some from this mycelium brick. Also, how I lion's mane, how I cooked that, how I ate it. It's delicious. The meatiest of the mushrooms is so very good for building up the neurons in your brain and your nervous system. Also, it helps you keep and stay alert, but also common, not the same as coffee in itself. So many different types of mushrooms. I can go through them and talk about them, but I'm not going to right now. It's just another video just to briefly introduce and remind us about the wonders and the resources for researching about mushrooms. One of my first degree is in biology, and that was one of my favorite subjects was mycology. Also, I was thinking about at one point, which they're doing now, but we haven't brought it to my hometown yet, is opening up a coffee mushroom shop. I would love to see that. I would definitely go there where we can actually have like organic coffee, decaf and regular, and have medicinal mushrooms that you put in them. That would be just an awesome thing to have. If I had the money and the know-how to do that, I would do that. But if I wanted to really, really do that, I could find a way, of course, right? But anyway, hopefully that was a business adventure idea for someone, because it would not only be very delicious, but very nutritious and beneficial for anybody to have a mushroom coffee shop. Anyway, that's it for now. Talking about mushrooms, I could talk about it forever. This is basically impromptu, if you can't tell, but I did want to come and talk a little bit, give a little info about mushrooms. Anyway, thanks for visiting the city, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.